Hello and welcome to News at 10 on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor and here are the latest headlines. Sixth and final phase of polling underway in West Bengal. Fate of 170 candidates to be sealed across 25 constituencies. Judge who gave verdict in Augusta Westland case in Italy says no direct evidence is showing involvement of Indian politicians in accepting bribe. This as government alleges invisible hand prevented probe earlier in the deal. Cabinet approves flexible norms for utilizing domestic coal by power plants. Target to bring down cost of power generation by 40 to 50 paise per unit. It seems all clear for Donald Trump's nomination for US presidential race after Ted Cruz. John Kasich exits race. An emergency declared in Alberta in central Canada. All 88,000 residents of Fort McMurray City forced to flee. Well, the big story this morning, polling for the sixth and final phase of polls in West Bengal has begun amid tight security with 25 constituencies in East Midnapore and Cooch Behar going to polls. Around 58 lakh voters will decide the fate of 170 candidates across 6,774 polling booths in the two districts. The last phase is a number of heavyweights fighting to retain their seats, including state ministers and top leaders from different parties. Of the 25 seats going to polls, Trinamool Congress has the 16 in East Midnapore and 4 of Cooch Behar's 9. The opposition alliance hopes to bag at least 10 of these. Now, East Midnapore poses the toughest challenge for Left Congress alliance, with the TMC's S. Adhikari contesting from Nandigram. The Election Commission has provided a tight security cover across the polling stations to ensure peaceful polling. 361 companies of central forces who are assisted by a contingent of 12,000 state police personnel have been deployed in the state. Now, nearly 10,000 voters for border enclaves in Cooch Behar district will exercise their franchise for the first time. This because of the formal inclusion of enclaves in the Indian territory last year. The sixth phase wraps up the West Bengal Assembly elections. The result of the polls will be declared on 19th of May. And for more on this, let's go across to my colleague Panchanan Mishra, who's joining us live from Haldia. Panchanan, now it's been 3 hours into the voting in 25 constituencies in East Midnapore and Cooch Behar district. As you were telling us in the morning, how there are serpentine queues early in the morning. What is the situation right now?
The queues are still here. You can see the no let up in the queues. It's very exciting for the voters as far as voters concerned, and as far as the Election Commission is concerned. Large number of people are coming here to vote, and you can see the two separate lines of women's and men's also. It's a very good voting since morning. You can say since the beginning of the voting, since 6 a.m. We have seen the long queues in this Haldia assembly seat. This is one of the seat of Purvi Mednipur. It has 16 total seats. It's one of the seat in Haldia, and the voting is in other district also in Cooch Behar is going on there for the 9 assembly seats. So the voting is very exciting, and the security measures have been taken by the Election Commission. It's very, very high security here, and the paramilitary forces are deployed. And till now, the elections are very smoothly going on.
In the morning, as you were telling us, it is going to be very interesting because it will be the first time the residents of the border enclaves in Cooch Behar district will be exercising their franchise. But also, all eyes will be on Nandigram as well, because here violent acquisition movement had led to the end of the left-run government. So it will be interesting to see how TMC really fares here.
Yeah, exactly. Nandigram is one of the 16 assembly seats in Purvi Mednipur district. It's adjacent to this Haldia seat. It's very interesting in Nandigram that the people's there was violent violence in 2007
Yes.
regarding the land acquisition for a chemical hub. But the local peoples of Nandigram don't wanted it. They prevented it, and finally the CPM, who was very long standing there, lost the election, and Trinamool Congress came in 2011 election. Still, this issue is still very much prevalent in Nandigram assembly seat. If you go there and talk to the people, there is almost Trinamool Congress is there. People don't want any industry here there for chemical hub. They want smaller industries, but they don't want any chemical hub. The CPM has also realized its fault to establish the industry chemical hub there. Now
Yes.
they are saying that they will develop it, but not with the chemical industry. So Nandigram will be a very important seat, but it's TMC, which is, I think, getting favor in Nandigram.
All right. Thank you so much, Panchanan, for all those details there. So, to serpentine queues in Haldia district and all the other districts of the state as well, it is the sixth and the final phase of assembly elections in West Bengal. That is one big story that we'll keep tracking through the day. Meanwhile, on to the other big story in the Augusta Westland chopper case. There is an ammunition for Congress as the Italian judge who delivered the verdict in the chopper deal has said that there was no direct evidence linking any Indian politician with alleged kickbacks to swing the deal in favor of the Anglo-Italian helicopter firm. Now, Judge Marco Maria Maggia told the TV channels that there is a possibility or probability, but there is no direct evidence. Now, identifying the Indian individuals, he said, was not in for judgment for the Italian courts. He maintained that the verdict was only against senior officials of the chopper company and middlemen who had paid bribes to some officials in India, and that it was up to the Indian investigators to follow the money trail now. The judge said that the bribes could have gone to others who were instrumental in bringing the Augusta Westland helicopters to India, but they have no evidence. Meanwhile, the government and the opposition exchanged sharp verbal barbs on the Augusta Westland chopper deal case in the upper house yesterday. While both sides levelled allegations against each other, the government rejected the demand for a time-bound inquiry monitored by the Supreme Court.
The much-awaited short-duration discussion on the Augusta Westland chopper deal started on a cordial note, with both sides giving out facts and levelling the occasional allegation against each other.
आखिर कैग को जब ये पता पड़ गया था 13 सितंबर 2013 को, तो तत्कालीन सरकार ने इस पे कार्रवाई करने के लिए, इस पे ब्लैकलिस्ट करने के लिए और इस पर सख्त कदम उठाने के लिए कोई कार्रवाई क्यों नहीं करी?
The total money admittedly paid to this company is 1586 crore. We have recovered 2062 crores.
My God.
2062 crores came out of 224 crores of bank guarantee we encashed immediately, and 1881 crores on a case we lost, we appealed and we won just around the time the new government was coming, but it was all done in our time. Now this is without counting, sir, 3 additional helicopters we impounded. The cost of each helicopter is 300 crores.
Members from other opposition parties sought a detailed probe, with some asking it to be monitored by the Supreme Court.
आप किसी तरह से भी ये लुटेरे लोगों को, ये पैसा खाने वाले लोगों को, ये देश का जो पैसा, जनता का जो पैसा है, उसको लूटने वाले लोगों को आप पकड़ के लाइए. हम लोग आपका साथ देने का काम करेंगे, लेकिन झूठे आरोप मत लगाइए.
He promised to the nation that nobody will be spared who is involved in the scam. उसका बावजूद उसका बाद 14 महीना एंटोनी जी रक्षा मंत्री रहे, लेकिन एक आदमी के खिलाफ भी कोई कार्रवाई नहीं किया गया.
Then came the protests, when nominated member Subramanian Swamy levelled allegations against top leaders of the Congress party.
Whether you had decided not to give any documents to the Italian government even despite the request? If so, did you make the decision yourself? Was it a cabinet decision, or it was a super cabinet decision, or somewhere else you got the orders from? He has to make it clear. And I would say, quoting the letter of Christian Michel, the person named there should also be interrogated, in my opinion, interrogated first, because it says that that person was the driving force behind this deal.
Congress members refuted Swamy's allegations.
सार्वजनिक जीवन के जो भी मूल्य है, सार्वजनिक जीवन की जो सीमाएं हैं या जो मर्यादाएं हैं, मैंने उसे कभी भी लांघने की कोशिश नहीं की। वो सीमा को मैंने कभी भी तोड़ने की कोशिश नहीं की। और जो लोग आरोप लगा रहे हैं उनसे मैं कहना चाहूँगा कि बातिलों से डरने वाले नहीं, ये आसमां हम 100 बार ले चुका है तो इम्तिहान।
The requirement numbers of helicopters for the encourage was further deliberated between airport quotas, MOD and SPG. The quantity of helicopters proposed for requirement was revised from 8 to 12. You are right. But for what? Why? From 8 to 12 by adding 4 helicopters in non-VIP configuration for security reasons. 8 for VIPs, 4 for non-VIP. Don't twist the facts. These facts.
In his reply, Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar gave a detailed chronology and blamed the UPA government for not taking strong action in the case. He also assured the House that the NDA government will conduct a swift inquiry. But the government rejected demands for a time-bound investigation monitored by the Supreme Court.
CBI, which registered an FIR in the matter on 12th March 2013, based on the reference made by Ministry of Defence on 12 February 2013, did not bother to forward a copy of FIR to Enforcement Directorate for 9 months.
The Congress and JDU members then staged a walkout, stating that they were not satisfied with the government's reply. Vishal Daya's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And moving on, well, Rajya Sabha Chairman Mohammad Hamid Ansari has accepted Vijay Mallya's resignation as a member of the House. Now, Deputy Chairman PJ Kurian announced this a day after Mallya's resignation was rejected for not conforming to the prescribed procedure.
I have to... Now sit down. I have to inform the members that the Honorable Chairman has received a letter dated 3rd of May 2016 from Dr. Vijay Mallya, member representing the state of Karnataka, resigning his seat in the Rajya Sabha. He has accepted his resignation with effect from the 4th of May 2016.
Earlier, the Ethics Committee of Rajya Sabha recommended Vijay Mallya's immediate expulsion from the upper house. The committee said that by taking stern action and expelling Mallya, Parliament would show that it is committed to taking action against the erring members.
Chairman of Ethics Panel Karan Singh tabled the report of the panel on the non-disclosure of liabilities as the loans taken from different banks in his assets and liabilities returns by Rajya Sabha MP Vijay Mallya on Wednesday.
Of the Committee of Ethics on the non-disclosure of liabilities such as the loans taken from different banks in his assets and liabilities returns by Dr. Vijay Mallya, member Rajya Sabha.
The panel was of the view that Mallya's actions are unbecoming of a Rajya Sabha MP. The report mentioned that the committee was of the firm view that considering the gravity of Mallya's misconduct, a sanction not less than termination of membership from the House is warranted. Vijay Mallya is charged with money laundering and loan default of over 9,400 crore rupees. He sent his resignation to the chairman of the upper house on Tuesday, but it was turned down by the chairman on procedural grounds. The upper house will now take a call on the recommendation made by the ethics panel. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Now to some other news. Well, Union Telecom Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad has said that there is absolutely no truth or scientific basis that radiation from mobile towers and handsets has adverse impact on humans and other living beings. Now, speaking in the Lok Sabha during the question hour, Ravi Shankar Prasad said that linking cancer and other diseases to mobile tower radiation are mere rumors and there is no evidence. He also said that repeated court rulings have also rejected the premise that mobile tower radiations adversely impact human health.
वर्ल्ड ओवर इसका कोई इंपैक्ट नहीं है और मैं सभी सम्मानित सदस्यों से आग्रह करना चाहूंगा कि आप कॉल ड्रॉप की शिकायत करते हैं, अगर टावर नहीं लगेगा तो कॉल ड्रॉप होगा। इसलिए कृपा करके अपने क्षेत्रों में ये जो एक प्रकार का कंफ्यूजन है, लोगों को बताइए ये बिल्कुल मिथ्या है, इसका कोई आधार नहीं है।
And the Union Cabinet has approved a proposal to relax the norms for utilization of domestic coal. And this is aimed at bringing down the cost of power generation by 40 to 50 paise per unit. Power Minister Piyush Goyal says that he expects that cost reduction will lead to savings of 25,000 crore rupees per annum in 4 to 5 years. Earlier, the government had allowed swapping of coal mines by users so that transportation cost could be reduced for the generation of power. The government has allowed coal swapping in 19 blocks, which brought down the cost of power generation as users were able to source the dry fuel from mines located nearer to them. The move by the government comes at a time when international price of coal has been set at a lower level.
कोयले की लिंकेज इंडिविजुअल प्लांट को देने के बदले स्टेट वाइज होगी। तो जितने कोल एक स्टेट के अलग अलग प्लांट्स को दिया गया है वो सबको कंबाइन करके उस स्टेट को कुल उतने मिलियन टन कोयला अलॉट हो जाएगा।
And in Breakfast News, we'll take a very short break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Life after death was a cardinal belief in the Harappan civilization. Reflecting this is the skeleton of a middle-aged woman with gold bangles. Excavated from Rakhigadi in Haryana, it's an example of the burial practices in those times. Much like the Egyptian mummies, vessels, eatables, ornaments were kept near the dead body, in the hope that they would be of use to the person in the next world.
Welcome back. Now, Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan has said that parliamentarians need to unite to overcome drought-like situation in several parts of the country. Inaugurating a two-day workshop in the Parliament Library building, Mahajan said that diminishing water resources and other related factors pose formidable challenge before the policymakers. Now, as many as 89 members of Parliament attended the workshop. The workshop is being held on three interlinked subjects of drought and related agrarian issues, drinking water management and interlinking of rivers for water management. Sumitra Mahajan also urged MPs to devise credible strategies to manage and preserve water resources.
Yes, but the matter is under my consideration.
And in related news now, several parts of the country witnessed pre-monsoon showers bringing respite from severe heat wave conditions. According to the Met Department, western disturbance is expected to trigger rains in some parts of the northwest India. National capital also witnessed some pre-monsoon showers and will continue for the next 2 days. Meanwhile, the current spell of rains has helped to actually douse the ongoing Uttarakhand jungle fire, even as the toll in the blazing forest fire rose to 7. Now, Munsiari and the hills received 11 millimeters of rain and Dehradun in the plains recorded 7 millimeters of showers. Meanwhile, a Northeast Frontier Railway has taken precautionary step by cancelling all trains running between Guwahati and Silchar due to heavy rains and landslide prediction at many places on this route. Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, which are reeling under similar heat wave conditions, have cooled down with the recurring thunder showers. Day temperatures remained around 40 to 45 degrees Celsius in both the states, but gale and rains for a couple of hours brought some relief. However, there are many states that are still facing harsh heat wave conditions. Met Department observatories in Maharashtra have predicted thunder showers in water-starved Marathwada region, central Maharashtra and Vidarbha region in the next 4 days. On to news from across the border, and the 7-month-old Nepalese government of Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli plunged into crisis on Wednesday, with coalition partner Maoists serving it a quit notice. The Unified Communist Party of Nepal has decided to withdraw support and form a national unity government under its leader Pushpa Kamal Dahlia Prachanda. The main opposition, Nepali Congress and the Madheshi parties, have also agreed to back his move. The Nepali Congress and the Marxists have alleged that the Oli-led government was incapable of addressing national problems and implementing the new constitution. Oli had earlier held a dinner meeting with the Maoist chief Prachanda to mend ties, but the Prime Minister's efforts appear to have failed. Now, Oli has now directed his party lawmakers to be prepared to counter any move by the Nepali Congress, as it is likely to put obstructions when the government presents its policy documents in Parliament next week. The big international story and the race for the US Republican presidential nomination took more than a year to unfold, but it was over in a snap. After Ted Cruz, John Kasich formally suspended his presidential campaign on Wednesday. Now, this paves the way for Donald Trump to clinch the Republican nomination with no chance at all of being deadlock delegates in a contested convention.
I am here to ask you for your prayers, for your support, for your efforts, because I have decided to run for President of the United States.
On 15th of July last year, John Kasich had asked for everyone's support and prayers as he declared his decision to be part of the most extraordinary race for the Republican presidential nomination in modern political history. However, the race was over in a flash. On Wednesday, the Ohio governor dropped out of the presidential race after struggling to gain traction against frontrunner Donald Trump.
And as I suspend my campaign today, I have renewed faith, deeper faith, that the Lord will show me the way forward and fulfill the purpose of my life. Thank you, and God bless.
The quiet announcement came a day after Donald Trump became the presumptive Republican nominee with a decisive win in the Indiana primary, leading Ted Cruz bowing out of the field. Third-placed Kasich, once thought to be the savior of the moderate wing of the Republican Party, could have soldiered on, but with little money and no hopes of winning, such a course bordered on the absurd. Now, with Kasich's withdrawal, Trump need not even make campaign stops in California, which holds its primary on 6th of June.
To win again, we have to know how to win, and we haven't won. We've been losing all the time. We lose with our military. We can't beat ISIS. We lose with trade. We lose with borders. We lose with everything. We're not going to lose. We're going to start winning again, and we're going to win big league. Believe me.
The exit of both Kasich and Ted Cruz leaves Trump with the only Democratic nominee, likely to be Hillary Clinton, standing between him and the White House in November's general election. Hillary Clinton lost Indiana primary to Bernie Sanders, but she has almost an insurmountable lead in votes and delegates over him. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And Alberta, in the heart of Canada's oil sands region, is racing to evacuate thousands of people as an uncontrolled wildfire burns. The area is experiencing the largest evacuation in its history, with all the 80,000 residents being moved to cities safe from the flames.
Before anything else, our thoughts are turning to our friends in Alberta. Obviously, Fort McMurray being evacuated has been extremely difficult, not just for the province and officials, but for the folks who live there, and the folks, as we well know, right across the country who have connections to Fort McMurray. And
A wildfire that is currently raging out of control in Alberta, Canada, has already destroyed 2 neighborhoods and badly damaged others. The Canadian government is working on the biggest evacuation in the area's history, with moving all 80,000 residents.
Well, it's a disaster, and I find that that's not fair. They didn't even let us take our things and when we asked them. So we lost everything now.
As frustrating and as scary as it is to leave your home, it's not as frustrating and scary as to find that you're trapped by your home if the fire changes direction.
And we had basically 2 minutes to get home, grab our stuff, and we had to leave.
The fire broke out southwest of the city on Sunday, then shifted with the wind to enter the city on Tuesday. A forecast of potential fire intensity showed much of the area at Class 6, the highest possible level. Hot, dry weather has made it difficult for the firefighters to bring the fire under control.
It's been the worst day of my career, and I am, the whole, the people here are devastated. Everyone's devastated. The community is going to be devastated. This is going to go on. This is going to take us a while to come back from.
While oil sands facilities, the major industry of the area, are not in the fire's path, the blaze is likely to disrupt operations. So far, no injuries or deaths have been reported. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And now let's get you all the sporting action. Here is the sports beat. The French port city of Marseille is bracing itself for a wave of activity as it prepares to host thousands of football fans during the Euro 26 soccer tournament. Security concerns for the Euro arose after deadly attacks claimed by the Islamic State killed 130 people in Paris last November. Now, authorities responded by reinforcing securities at stadiums as well as fan zones, especially, which could prove to be a challenge for security forces. The ethics arm of the World Soccer's governing body has opened formal proceedings against former FIFA Vice President Jeffrey Webb. The Ethics Committee's chamber opened proceedings following an investigatory report. Webb was arrested in May in Zurich along with the 6 other current and former FIFA officials. The US authorities announced a sweeping investigation of corruption in soccer. Former world #1 golf player Adam Scott says that he will skip the Rio Games, the first prominent player to do so. Scott spoke about his decision, saying that he has not abandoned Australia and that he feels that he represents his nation every time he competes. The Indian women's hockey team lost 0-2 in the opening encounter of the 5-match test series against Great Britain in Marlow on Tuesday night. This loss came as a blow to the Indian team after a rather disappointing outing at the Hockey Bay Cup last month. 7 Indian shuttlers are set to qualify for the Olympic Games at Rio de Janeiro. The list includes 2 women's singles players in Saina Nehwal and PV Sindhu, 1 men's singles player in K. Srikanth, the women's doubles pair of Jwala Gutta and Ashwini Ponappa, while Manu Atri and Sumit Reddy make up the men's doubles team. That's all in this edition of news. Thanks for watching.